Alright, so this is Module 5, Lesson 20. And it starts off by saying, for Step 1, show your strategy to solve. Step 2, find a classmate who used a different strategy and copy his or her work into the box. And Step 3, discuss which strategy is more efficient. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to solve each problem the way that I think you are going to solve this, then solve this the way that I would solve this, and tell you why. Alright, so for this right here, I imagine most of you are probably going to go straight for a chip model, because that seems to be the preferred method. So I'm going to go ahead and make my place value chart real quick. And so we've got 399, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, so 399 plus 237, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So of course when I'm doing this, I have to start over in my ones column. So I've got 9, 10. So I can just go ahead and bundle that and move it over. Don't forget to draw your chip. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these left over here. Then I've got 9, 10 in my tens column. Don't forget to draw my chip. And I've got 3 left here in the center in my tens column. Then I have 6 over here in my hundreds column. So I come up with 636. So here's how I believe most of you will probably do this, just because that's what you're used to. Now, we're going to take a look at what Mr. K would do, just because I think that I can help you figure out how to do this a little bit more efficiently, okay? A little bit quicker, because when we were over here, this took quite a bit of time, so I'm gonna do this one real quick. So I see that this number obviously is 399, and I know that that's really, really close to 400. So to save myself a headache, I'm going to make a quick number bond, and so I've got a 1 right here, and 236 right here. Now I chose 1 because if I add this over here, I can make a nice even 400. So then I have 400 plus 236, which is going to equal 636, because all I have to do is add 400, which we can obviously do in our head pretty easily. But this was obviously really, really quick compared to the chip model, because all I had to do was write down a couple of numbers and boom, done, right? So that's why I would say that this is more efficient, okay? Alright, so once again, I'm going to show you the strategy that I believe most of you are going to tend towards, which is going to be, once again, a place value chart with a chip model. So this is 400 minus 298. So I'm just going to go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4, and then let's go ahead and get started. Now I obviously can't take away 9 in my tens place, because there's nothing there, and I can't start with my 1s because there's nothing there as well. So I'm going to have to do some unbundling first, so this might take just a little bit, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and take that apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then I need to take one of those 10s apart. So I'm going to bring it over here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and now I can go ahead and subtract 8 from my 1s, because we have an 8 that I need to subtract. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I end up with 2. In the middle, I need to subtract 9, which should leave me with 0, because I only have 9 10s in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I need to subtract 2 in my hundreds spot. So I end up with 102. Now I'm going to come over here and show you a way that's quite a bit faster. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use our arrow way, and I'm going to start with the subtrahend, because I think that addition in this case will be super easy. So I've got 298, and I'm going to go ahead and try and make that to the next 10, which also in this case happens to be the next 100. So I'm going to go plus 2, because that will get me to 300. And then I need to get from 300 to 400. So I need to add 100 more. So that gets me to 400. And then of course I need to come up here and see what I added. So I added 102. So there is my final answer. And as you can see, that was a lot faster. It's just that you have to have the confidence to be able to do it. So for problem 3, I'm going to go ahead and let you choose whatever method you want to solve this one. So go ahead and pause the video, and when you are done, go ahead and press play again, and then you can see how I solved this, okay? So go ahead and pause now. Alright, so I'm going to do first the vertical algorithm, because I think that's going to be the most efficient in this particular case. So I've got 8 plus 1, which is, of course, 9. Then I have 4 plus 8, which is 12. And I have 5 plus 1, which is 6, plus 1 more, which is 7. So I come up with 729. Now I think this one would be pretty hard to do using the arrow way, so we're not going to do that one. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the chip model as well real quick. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start counting up from my 1s column, of course. So I have 8, 9 over there. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, here. And then, of course, I need to move it over here, put my little dot. Then I've got 2 left over in the 10s place. I have 5, 6, 7 right here. So I end up with 729. So I'm not saying that you can't solve this one using the arrow way, but it's just going to be a lot harder than it needs to be. And this right here, the vertical algorithm, in this particular case, is going to be the most efficient. Because you don't have to draw out the place value chart, as well as you don't have to figure out some funky way to get 548 plus 181 using the arrow way, because it's just awkward numbers to do that with. Alright, so for this one I'm going to give you a little hint before I show you how I would do this. So right after I show you the hint, you're going to pause, try to work this out on your own. Okay, so I see that I have 360 plus blank equals 754. And so that's kind of a awkward spot to be in, because we're looking for whatever's in this blank. And so there are a couple of ways that you could do this. But first I'm going to show you my little hint for you. So let's take a look at the number bond for this. And so I know that 754 is going to be my whole, because this is an addition problem after all. And then I know that I have 360 on one side and a question mark on the other side. And so when we have a whole and one of the parts, how do we find the other part? So here's where I'm going to have you go ahead and pause and try this one on your own. So hopefully some of you realized that you could use subtraction to be able to solve this, but one of those strategies that we just learned recently is using the arrow way, and when it's actually a subtraction problem, we can take the subtrahend, which is of course going to be the smaller number, the number that would be on the bottom, and add to that until we get to the number we're looking for, which is, in this case, the answer, 754. So I'm going to go ahead and work this out vertically first, because I have 4 minus 0, which is 4, 5 minus 6, which I can't do, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of unbundling. So if I take apart one of my hundreds, I'll only have 6 left, and then that leaves me with 15 tens in my tens place, because I have just moved over a bunch of tens from that 100. So 15 minus 6 is, of course, 9, and 6 minus 3 is going to be 3. Now I'm going to show you how to do this the arrow way as well. So I've got 360, and I'm going to go ahead, and since it is to the nearest 10, I'm going to make it go to the nearest 100 now. So I've got plus 40, because that's what I need to get to 400, which is the next 100. So there's 400, and remember I'm trying to get all the way up to 754. So I can go all the way up to 700 from here. All I have to do is add 300, right? So 400 plus 300 equals 700, and then from there I need to add 54. So I've got plus 54, which will take me to 754. Now remember, when you do it this way, you do need to take all of these and add them up. So I'm going to go ahead and add these two first. So I know that 40 plus 50 would be 90, so 40 plus 54 would be 94. Then I can go 94 plus that 300 right there, because I've already used both of those. So I end up with 394. Just like right here. Now in this particular case, of course, I believe that this method is going to be more efficient, But if this method is a little bit hard for you, of course, you can use either the arrow method or draw yourself a nice little place value chart and work it out that way as well. So for problem 5, I'm going to go ahead and have you do this one completely on your own, because I think I've given quite a few examples. I will do just one little hint though. Okay, so we have 862 minus blank equals 690. So once again, if we do our little number bond, I know that this is going to be one of the parts, because in subtraction we always start with the whole. And so I'll have 862, and then one of the parts I know, which is 690, and the other is a mystery. So if I have one of those as well as my whole, then I know how I can find the missing part.